The Microshift Advent X is by far one of the best drivetrains I've ever purchased. This video isn't about that one. It's actually about the much smaller Microshift Advent 9-speed. Since I have adverted your expectations, not really since you probably read the title, let me tell you why I think this is probably the best and most cost-effective drivetrain that I've ever bought. Before this drivetrain, I used 9-speed Shimano's and Box, and compared to both of those, in my opinion, this drivetrain beats both of those out of the water in terms of price and usability. Now before I continue, I do want to point a couple things out. One is that I don't really use this bike that much. I mostly have it to loan it out. And two, this cassette does come in an aluminum 11 to 42 tooth, which is lighter but more expensive, and an 11 to 46 tooth, which is heavier, cheaper, but it does somewhat make climbing easier, and it is the one that I went with. One thing that makes this drivetrain stick out from the competition for me is this rubber thumb guard on the shifter. Obviously, you don't need something like this, as most drivetrain manufacturers won't include something like it, but the fact that it's there shows Microshift puts in that little extra thought for the customer's experience, so it's nice to see it there. Now part of me wishes that I spent more time on this drivetrain myself, but the way I like to look at things is to quantify the amount of complaints I've gotten from loaning this bike out. Now the truth is, I haven't heard any complaints out of the drivetrain. If there's a common trend that I like to see from new riders is, one, how expensive mountain biking can be. That's fair. Things are pricey. No way around that. And once they're actually out on the trails, they never really know how or when to shift. In my opinion, the less gears the better, and 9-speed is plenty for most beginner trails. And even if you weren't a novice to mountain biking and you're just looking to upgrade from the common 3x9 setup that your budget bike comes with, the Advent 9-speed is really such a good deal for someone on a budget, allowing you to get a 1x setup and quite possibly a JG crankset for under $160. I checked that myself, I know it checks. This budget drivetrain also provides the addition of a clutch with an off and on switch, which is such a bonus at this price point. This not only provides the mean for added chain retention, but it provides the convenience for anyone to replace a chain, or in my case, made the install process that much simpler. Not to mention, this drivetrain required very little adjustment out of the box, and not to neglect, it hasn't required much maintenance since. If I'm being forthcoming, this bike doesn't get a whole lot of love in the maintenance department, seeing as I don't use this bike that much. Now, that may change, but who knows. All in all, I think this is an excellent choice for anyone on a budget. The steel cassette also lasts longer than its aluminum version, so it provides a peace of mind to know that I won't need to replace it anytime soon. Especially since the bike that I put it on exists for one singular purpose, and that's to get loaned out. With that said, if I had to do it all again, I would most definitely choose another Advent 9-speed. Sure, you might get slightly more range with the Advent X, but I was thinking about maximizing the budget for a budget build. If I were looking for a bike that I would use more or cut grams on a bike, then Advent X all the way. But that's not what I was looking for on this bike. For anyone to stay to the end, I'd like to thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.